Welcome to Useless Agent. This program is not meant for children of any age. Enjoy my nightmares.
Stay chasing.
Okay, let's do this.
Joy, stop crying. I'm just a city guy, living fly, getting high. Living till I die, getting by, whipping by. Staying solidified, big time to different sides. Here's your ticket, ride, follow if you feel my vibe. I'm just a city guy, living fly, getting high. Living till I die, getting by, whipping by. Staying solidified, big time to different sides. Here's your ticket, ride, follow if you feel my vibe.
50. Smile on your face. Nobody give a fuck about 40. Nobody remember 40. And y'all niggas just giving me way too many 40-degree days. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the
All right, how's it going, party people? It's another day. Today is the 7th of March, so let's get it on. All right, so sorry. Honestly, I was trying to think of what today's episode was going to be, and it was one of those cases where it was like, I got a laundry list of it, but it's still like, just possibilities that we can do shows on. But some of them, I'd rather have these conversations with other people, which I'm waiting for this goddamn weather to just finally decide what the fuck it wants to do. So I know when I can leave the house with the computer and all the fucking, tech that I need to bring to go out and have these interviews. So this weather is just fucking with me. And I don't want to put my shit in danger of fucking freezing. And, Frankie here, this computer, he ain't much for taking that kind of shit. And I sure as hell ain't gonna use my fucking new one. But so overall, I decided to go with the idea of something that's been really bothering just in the back of my head, my own personal peeves. And I started thinking about it. And with the dropping out of Nikki Haley, who finally won her first fucking primary, I could not believe that she finally got a V, and then she decided to leave. Sorry. It seems like she was on a positive trend of getting Trump voters away from him. Now, she should have done this all the way to the end. So I really don't understand why she would have stepped down, so easily, and in my opinion, just so cowardly. After you've made it, so many points that you are who you are, you're not going anywhere, all this stuff, and then then she just steps back. It didn't seem to make any sense to me. I didn't understand why she would do that. And what's it called? So I wanted to see exactly how she was going to do this, because I don't know. I find these special reports to be really funny to me. So let's just take a look at how exactly she dropped out, even though she, like I said, she just finally won one, and her projection was actually starting to show, and she was showing a little bit of improvement. And next thing we hear,
this is an NBC News special report. Here's Savannah Guthrie.
Hi, everybody. Coming on a bit early this morning with breaking news, a big development in the 2024 presidential race. NBC News has learned this morning that Nikki Haley will announce today she is dropping out of the race after Donald Trump's near sweep of the Super Tuesday states. That move makes Trump the apparent Republican nominee and sets up a rematch in November with President Biden. NBC's Garrett Haig joins us. He covers the Trump campaign there in Mar-a-Lago this morning for us. What have you heard?
I don't care.
Press this weekend that she no longer felt bound by the pledge she made last year to endorse the Republican nominee, suggesting that the message she was getting from her voters and that she was taking back to the rest of the country is that so many people in the country were unsatisfied with a Joe Biden, Donald Trump.
You know, Nikki Haley did not
Okay, so it seems like her strategy was what I might be able to win this, so I might as well leave because I might lose it too. You finally got your first V. I mean, shit, you got Washington. I was really surprised at that, but you know, you can lead so many to water, but they'll still just die of thirst, and it's a very common tale. Now, in other news, my bong finally broke, and so I am hoping to the gods of Flex Seal I'll be able to fix it. But it's never going to be the same. The beautiful, Rick Sanchez hair spikes that looked like the weed leaves that looked like, Rick Sanchez's hair are gone. They're sad. They've been spray painted over because, when you're trying to use Flex Seal, it gets everywhere. I mean, shit. I had to spend a lot of time scrubbing my hand with a Brillo pad because it just won't go away. So this is this is the new one. And it is, if you can see the R&M, it is a legitimate Rick and Morty, so I named her Dill. So this is Dill. Now Dill ain't very fancy. I don't know why I even poured water in this motherfucker. There ain't no bong system. There's no chambers. So it's not like I'm gonna hear that beautiful sound of So I don't know. Maybe we'll see. If 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 the motherfucker can ride on a boat made of this Flex Seal shit, I should be able to smoke with this fucking Flex Seal shit. But my worry was, I don't want to be inhaling the fumes that can arise from such a product. So I have tried to narrow down the Flex Seal to one exact area that doesn't get much heat. And like I said, it gets everywhere. So it's gonna be hideous. I will be showing you guys tomorrow because it says it's got to wait 24 hours. So I have it outside into the shade where it can get some cool air and hopefully dry a little bit faster. And I even smoked out of it to see if any smoke was coming out. Now, to those of you that wonder, how do you fix a broken bong? We've been asking ourselves this for years. I mean, not everybody has a goddamn soldering gun. Not everybody's going to have crazy glue on them on the spot. So I found that can of Flex Seal on the bus, and I took that shit with. Actually, you know what? No, I saw it in an alley. I think it fell off a truck, but I don't care. It's mine now. So the trick is to put tape around shit and then spray it up with the shit. Because I also tried to Flex Seal my pants because I had a hole in them. So for some goddamn reason, maybe it's because I saw this motherfucker riding a boat in the motherfucking Flex Seal. The whole bottom of the fucking boat was made of Flex Seal. So I figured, all right, this should work. So like a dumbass, I was like, wait a minute, it's supposed to harden, but it's going to be in a hole. Where is it? How is it going to harden? So I took some cardboard, put it behind, sprayed that shit. I just ended up with some funky ass pajama pants, bro. That's it. It's not worth it. Don't do it. What's it called? Some sad shit. So if you're going to try to fix it, by tomorrow, I will have an answer for you on whether or not it is worth the risk, or not the risk, is it worth the effort? And definitely wear gloves if you're using a regular can, because that shit gets really nasty. Now, speaking of really fucking nasty ass motherfuckers, we're now moving on to, again, the freak of nature that is Trump. Why? My question. Why? Why do people fear this ridiculous, stupid, fat, inept, mentally dying, feeble-minded, racist, xenophobe? Why are you afraid of him? You know, the guy is like 12 pounds of makeup on a 300-pound body. Now, when he said that he weighed 215 pounds, that shit is hilarious. But because I weigh 215 and I'm like a foot shorter than the dude, so I'm pretty sure you in the threes, bro. So I wish this had some sort of slider. I'm not used to not having a slider. All right. So next thing is, the question of why are people afraid of this fucking orange, Jesus. An orange Hitler is not a more terrifying Hitler. Unless you're going by those weird alert systems that we used to have back in the Bush era. Now, some of you guys might not be familiar with this, but during the years of 2001 to 2003, the government had us terrified all the fucking time over nothing, over absolutely nothing. They wanted us afraid so they could pass on fucking legislations that were going to be completely harmful to our freedoms. But we accepted it on the notion that we needed it for protection. And there's a great quote by Ben Franklin that states, anyone who is willing to give up their freedoms for safety deserve neither freedom nor safety. That is one of my favorite quotes, because it is so damn true. If you're so goddamn scared of life that you are willing to give up your autonomy, your ability to decide for yourself, then you are floundering in the wrong area. And it's about time that you start doing something else, because it ain't fucking working. Yeah, I just noticed. I mean, it's not every day, that I forget. I really didn't mean to. It was just an accident, I swear. And chill the fuck out. I was just kidding, man. All right, so let's move on. Now, the reason why these people are scared of this fat fuck, this fat orange retarded motherfucker, is linked to only one thing. Now, remember, to me, everything can go back to 9/11 or JFK. Everything that goes on in our lives is based on from 9/11, and before that, it was JFK. That's just how it is. You can literally trace back most of the corruption. And so when it comes down to the blatant racism, This actually just occurred recently, and I could not believe I heard this from somebody that I used to be close to and thought of as a big brother. But this person said that it's been, literally stealing the line from what was that? American History X. And he goes on to steal the line from the movie that states, Lincoln freed the slaves, 150 years ago? How long does it take to get your act together? Now, apparently, he does. He quotes from that part. But when he goes to the hoods, the ghettos, he'll make some sort of comment like that. These couldn't be further from the truth and reality. To actually fucking say shit like that. Because the truth is, we all have family, right? So we've all inherited whatever our family had. So it's all pure luck of how you're going to be born. So if you're born in a lucky position where you have, already rich parents, you wake up and you're, you learn to find out you're the heiress of the O. Henry candy bar, it changes who you are entirely. And we've seen this with celebrities and shit like that. So, you really are as tough as your friends are in some cases. And when I try to think of who is Trump's friend, does he even have any fucking friends? And then I remembered this guy. Well, originally I, of course, think of this moment, which was such a great moment in American history, wasn't it? So this was the first thing that I thought of. And I'm like, wait a minute. His Saudi connection. All right. Now, the Saudi connection that he has is not as deep as the Bushes. And you can tell that by this handshake. Normally, MBS, he smiles during his handshakes if he really likes you. If it's a business deal, he usually keeps his face pretty stern. This is all based on assumption. This is not a psychological fact. It's just what I picked up by his behaviors. Maybe he had an off day. Maybe he broke the pattern. There's always an exception to the rule. So I'm not claiming to know anything. But when you hear from a former Saudi Arabian spy master actually talking about how deadly afraid he is of MBS, who was the man we just saw. And so, what's it called? So because of MBS and his relation with MBS, there comes this relationship, but there comes like these strings that come with the relationship. It's basically like being friends with Vladimir Putin. You know damn well that my friend is an evil fucking person, but he's my evil person. He's gonna be nice to me. So, if you remember that video, God Made a Dictator, it was done by the Lincoln Project. It makes a lot of sense. Dictators always tend to worship other dictators. Now, we went in on Charlie Kirk the other day because he's a bobblehead piece of shit, and we did a battle of the bitches with him. And the way that he shows off his incredible racism is not only blatant, but it is now directed. It's aimed, and then you also have all these lies mixed with truth, and So Trump is basically friends with some of the scariest people on earth, the Saudis. And let's take a look at the spy master I was talking about. This is just him talking about how afraid he is because of him.
Mohammed bin Salman fears you.
He fears my information.
Saad told us his information includes a 2014 meeting between Prince Mohammed on the left and the then head of intelligence, Mohammed bin Nayef. It was 3 years before the coup. Saad claims the young prince boasted to Nayef that he could kill the sitting king, Abdullah, to clear the throne for his own father.
And he told him, I want to assassinate King Abdullah. I got a poison ring from Russia. It's enough for me just to shake hand with him, and he will be done.
A poison ring from Russia?
That's what he said, whether he's just bragging or, but he said that, and we took it seriously.
By we, Saad means Saudi intelligence took it seriously. The alleged threat, he says, was handled within the royal family. Saad told us he watched the meeting on a video recording. Does this video recording still exist?
Yes. I know where it is now. I know there are 2 copies of that. I know where they are.
I highly doubt we're going to be seeing much of that guy ever again. That guy should honestly, that man should be seriously protected, and we should find out whatever he knows. These are the people we're dealing with, and it ain't Trump. Trump has no balls. Trump will never pull a trigger. Trump will never physically lift a finger to do anything. He loves himself because he was born into a lucky position. And like I said, if you're born into those lucky positions and, you know, you're groomed into that bullshit lifestyle, which is why when we talk about shrinkflation, nobody seems to really give a fuck. And the fact is, the television is telling you not to give a fuck. It's telling you it's no big deal. I showed a clip of Ronnie Chang getting booed because of shrinkflation. And then he tried to say, have you noticed that 3 or 4 chips are missing? No, it's not 3 or 4 chips. It's about 2 or 3/4 of the motherfucking bag that are missing. And so, as I mentioned this before, and I brought this up even on TikTok, some guy had gone in and blamed Biden. Somehow blaming Biden for this. And I was like, dude, you realize that Biden, he actually did the CHIPS Act. So my question is, you know, now that chips are here, now that chips are going to be manufactured in America, we're going to make more money in the economy. It's going to help with our jobs. Can we get our 25-cent bag of chips back? I mean, it shouldn't cost you it really shouldn't cost you no harm. We really don't have to do no don't do that 3 for $1 bullshit. Those bags were garbage, bro. And because if you got a 25-cent bag of chips, you know, it was a decent handful, you know. Now it's fucking nothing. You got Clorox bottles that are 3/4 full, and you're still paying full price, and then they slim the bottle down. And so it makes you think, hey, did it get smaller? No, we just slimmed the size of the bottle. And this is shrinkflation. Now, shrinkflation is very, very real. But, of course, this doesn't matter to somebody that makes 6 or 7 figures. If you're a Mercedes driving Whole Food shopper that spends more money on takeout food than, you know, I do on fucking groceries, you know, then it's not going to be effective. It's not going to bother you. But to the average consumer who lives below the poverty line, and that's really the real America that everyone talks about. We are still left with nothing. We're left with the shaft. And my question is often, when do things actually get better and not worse? Because yeah, but that, like I said, for him to go on and blame Biden for the fact that shrinkflation exists, he's the only one addressing it and trying to work forward and move toward getting rid of shrinkflation. And then you have the television, the media telling you it's not a big deal. Well, right here we see a direct conflict. Obviously, the television, the media, they don't want us to think about that because that affects their profit margins. So they're going to act like they haven't been dropping ounces like every year. We're losing another 0.02, 0.03. And I don't give a fuck if it's 0.001. Numbers tend to add up. And the longer it proceeds and the longer it is perpetuated, the more you end up paying. So that's not good for anybody. It's not really good for the economy because all it does is shift the amount of needs. Now it just shifts the goalpost. And then you have dumbasses that think that someone in a one term can change all of America. Do you know how much fucking power the actual president has? It's really not a lot. Now, you're going to constantly hear this, and it's bullshit. And this isn't a complaint. It's just an observation of constant bullshit. When I saw that one guy on he was in a Target and he was filling up a Clorox bottle with another bottle of Clorox because it was fucking, half air. I rooted him on. There's no risk of it having, having bleach at a certain, level close to the cap. There's no fucking worry of combustion or anything like that because you need a separate chemical to create that type of said combustion. Now, if for some reason bleach also had little balls of tinfoil in it, okay, now we're going to have a problem. As soon as you put that cap on, it's going to blow. It's a scary ass thing, and it's a pretty cool experiment. Don't go out and do it, kids. So, oh man, I really missed the sound. So anyway, going back on over to Saudi, the answer of everybody's fears, of course, MBS. MBS has managed to go on and, do exactly what Trump wishes he could do. And basically, if we follow the Putin playbook and then you follow the actions and the mindset of MBS, you really get a much better sense of who Trump is. He's very ignorant. He's very impulsive. He does not think. And so he replaces everyone around him with similar narrow-minded thinkers that will just agree to everything he says. Now, I love that we're finally seeing these assholes getting back what's theirs, like Vince McMahon, for instance, who basically owned a lot of our childhoods and a lot of our teenage or adulthoods. You have people like Bill Cosby, another one, fucking raised you, to find out that all your heroes are fucking scumbags from the 80s. It's a pretty sad thing to be a fucking fan today, And then you're just so happy to find out that Mr. Rogers was cool. And so MBS is not only terrifying because you don't know what he's capable of, or you know what he's capable of, but you don't know when he'll strike or what's worth him striking at. Let's keep in mind that he gave Jared Kushner $2 billion. Now, that didn't come without some strings. So all of this pull that he keeps getting, and we keep wondering, how is he escaping this from this to this to this? Well, the answer goes back to how everything works. You know, the fact that Trump uses your fears, our fears, against us is the same thing that America itself, Uncle Sam's been doing to us for our entire lives. And so you're always going to have a boogeyman. No matter what nation it is, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be a constant boogeyman. And that's the main reason of why they kept Osama from ever getting killed, never bothered. You had Bush telling us that, you know, Osama bin Laden was the number one fucking guy looking for, you know, to kill him for 9/11. But when you read the actual paperwork, if you actually read even the FBI warning, 9/11 is not even in the list of his offenses. And that's because he never took credit for it. The only time he ever took credit for 9/11 was in a videotape that was made, I think in like 2007. And he supposedly had already died in like 2003. So as people started to lose interest in, when people started to lose interest in all that shit and about Osama bin Laden and shit, because the original, you know, mastermind was always supposed to be, or the original boogeyman was always supposed to be Saddam Hussein. And so basically they used a prototype that was Osama bin Laden. And by keeping him in the, by keeping Osama in the loop and as a part of the CIA, he's an asset. You can be using him at any time. And the CIA had him listed as Oscar, right? So basically what you're seeing right here, this is the truth. Our government has the only real, you know, well, there's only a handful of governments that have the real weapons of mass destruction. And the real word is nuclear war. And so we're supposed to have a nuclear treaty that we've already seen. And of course, it's America that drops a bomb on fucking, you know, Japanese civilians. And nobody likes to bring up, I mean, they'll bring up Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but they will never tell you that these weren't dropped on any kind of soldiers or anything. These were just dropped on people. And same thing with Chernobyl. When Chernobyl happened, they still have a school that's nearby that the air has been proven to be toxic. So when those kids in that school end up having children, they're going to end up having fucking serious medical problems. Now, this is not the fault of some 21-year-old kid that's just on the wrong side of the fucking war, but it does perpetuate it. So to go off and say something ignorant like, oh, it's Biden that's ruining our lives right now and has been behind all this craziness, they love making him into this double agent. Everybody is this double fucking agent. Now, as we look through here, every single person you just saw is a double agent, including places like Lockheed Martin that want you to believe that it's just a regular old fucking building or a regular old company and that they didn't do insider trading on 9/11. in order to understand the world, you have to understand the world is two worlds, possibly and probably more. It's basically two worlds in the aesthetic, but if you were to break it down, it's just like reality. There's not one dimension. It's not two dimensions. There's not three dimensions. There's not four dimensions. Yeah, I believe the last time we counted 12. And that's so primitive, I'm sure there's even more. We just haven't figured it out yet because we're still a young species. You know, I give us credit for certain things, and the fact that we've got, in the last 50 years, we've had all this shit, and in the last 70 years, we've had all this shit, is pretty damn remarkable. It seems like we all just kept going and kept going and kept going. So, as I stated before, we showed you or as you're looking at it right now anyway, these type of terrorists that we believe exist, they are not the people like Osama bin Laden and MBS. Those are actually the royalties, the bankers. These are your terrorists. People like them. They're the ones that send you off to pointless wars that they start, and then they expect you to clean up after them. They do this all the time. That's why the FBI never has any idea what the CIA is doing. So all they can do is clean up after it. Now, in cases of mercenaries, private armies, and militias, those are used for more covert operations and cleaning up. And they're some of the sickest because that's where you see children being wiped out by hundreds. I believe in Iraq there's 80,000 infants. So that's Netanyahu over there lying about Saddam Hussein, saying there's no question that he had weapons of mass destruction, that he got some sort of yellow cake uranium out of fucking Africa. None of this was actually true. Gaddafi was in Africa trying to make his own fucking dollar. And guess what? He ended up sodomized with a knife. And that was because he was trying to get his country away from American investment. They don't get much out of American currency. American currency is very expensive. So Gaddafi had come out with the Gaddafi dollar. This was going to compete with the petrodollar, and the petrodollar has to deal with oil and gas and shit. So, and then as you're fighting off that, it would have been its own self-sustainable economy that even though Gaddafi was an evil piece of shit, it didn't seem like he had all bad ideas. As often, that is the case. Not every idea of Hitler's was probably awful. I'm sure he had a couple of good ideas, like a toaster that like talks to you or something while you wait. I don't know. You don't know what people think, dude. I'm sorry. That's just you really don't, though, right? You never know. It could happen. It could happen. It could totally happen. What the hell's going on with this thing? Damn thing's not even working. All right. So anyway, now as we're going through all this shit, so let me just get to a simple point here. So the Saudis, and we're going to have to go to 9/11. The Saudis were all used in the hijackings, right? There was the 19 hijackers. These were all devout Muslims and Muhammad Atta and and fucking the keyboard elf and all that shit. And so honestly, we live in this like double fucking world that can't exist. And you can tell from all of its positions, from them trying to make MBS look like a businessman and not a fucking murderer, but they also want you to think that their CIA assets are evil beings that weren't being paid by them. So they constantly want everything to go both ways. And it's also really prevalent in the idea of Joe Biden itself. Again, going back to that original comment to say that it's all Biden that's ruining our lives. Okay, so this is a double agent, which in most cases they are. But in this case, he is a actual super 007 kind of agent that is pulling off the most psychological fucking warfare we've had, the greatest psychological warfare tactics, and doing it all in the comfort of his, I don't know, senior home, in his blanket and in his Snuggie, while watching old episodes of MASH because he can't remember where he is. But at the same time, he's worse than Brain from Pinky and the Brain, and he's an evil genius. It's kind of like telling us that a guy in a cave with no Wi-Fi could somehow break through the most advanced and expensive security fucking techniques and technologies like in America and destroying buildings in the middle and in the heart of New York City. Doesn't make much sense, does it? Love you guys. Be safe, be free, be yourselves, stay away from pork, and yeah, most of all, stay cheesy, my friends. In a world like today, we all must remain cheesy.
Welcome to Useless Agent. This program is not meant for children of any age. Enjoy my nightmares.
And stay cheesy.
Okay, let's do this.
Joy, stop crying. I'm just a city guy, living fly, getting high. Living till I die, getting by, whipping by. Staying solidified, big time to different sides. Here's your ticket, ride, follow if you feel my vibe. I'm just a city guy, living fly, getting high. Living till I die, getting by, whipping by. Staying solidified, big time to different sides. Here's your ticket, ride, follow if you feel my vibe.
50.